sold the idea of giving back to the community. I'm from Laredo. I retired about a year ago. And part of my mantra was that I was going to give back to the community as best I could. This community did so much for me. And obviously, I always stayed in touch. Did a lot of work with the future of the region, border areas. And, I think there's a lot of opportunities in border areas, but there's a lot of challenges. And so here I came to talk about artificial intelligence, which I think is both a challenge and opportunity, but I don't think we're well positioned at this point. And so the idea here is to get business in the community to know that it's coming and to get in front of this so that you can create a community that's more A&I ready, that's more ready to create prosperity.
So this audience today has been the Laredo Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Did they request that particular topic, or was that your idea that you just thought you've got to tell this community what's happening?
It's a combination of both. I'm specialized in looking kind of at emerging areas for economic development, having done a lot of work in both San Antonio and Las Vegas with the auto industry. What's amazing is that Las Vegas now, the fastest growth occupations are in the manufacturing sector. And so we basically begin to diversify that economy. San Antonio, 20 years ago, was military and tourism. Now it's very diversified. And I see the same opportunities in the border areas. And so I want to tell part of the story. And obviously, whatever happens, IT, artificial intelligence, is going to be a part of that journey. So let's start talking about it now.
And as you said in your speech, you have some concerns that the small business community could get left behind.
They're already being left behind. I think the data is very clear here. Less than 10% of small businesses are even engaged. I think it's 15% in this space. So they don't know what they don't know. And I think it's important. It's a red flag, especially when 90% of your businesses in areas like Laredo, McAllen, El Paso, when 90% of your businesses are less than 4 employees, you've got to work with these employees to show them what's possible and to collaborate so that you can kind of create opportunities for them to grow and to expand and to be ready for what's coming.
So what advice, that there's a number of small business people here today, but for the wider public, when they watch our video or the other courses that are here today, what's your advice to the small business community here, and who should they be talking to learn more?
Yeah, I think my primary point is to demystify artificial intelligence. It's not this robot that's coming. It's really a tool that's already here, and it's a tool that's evolving very, very quickly, and that can change the way we do everything, the way we think, the way we work, and kind of the way we live as a society. So it's important to understand that we're in this time in history where getting ready for that is going to be important. So you have to learn about it and then talk about what it means to your business. So I mentioned a lot of resources that are already in the communities. People don't realize they can go to the universities or small business assistance centers. Many of them have IT components, and they need to go and reach out and get some of that free technical assistance. If you're a small business person, it's free. They've got workshops, seminars. So there's a disconnect between the small businesses and kind of the ecosystems that are out there to help small businesses. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and advocacy organizations, community-based work, have a role to play. They've got to connect and build accountability so that we are ready for what's coming.
And likewise, from the other perspective, the other way of looking at it, the universities, academia, the colleges, they need to reach out and tell the public, we have these resources, we want to help.
That's the great opportunity. I think it's not an issue of pointing fingers. It's an issue of building momentum and create that common vision. And the universities play another role. They're the drivers for economic diversification. And I think in border areas, the data speaks for itself. When we're 3 of the poorest metro areas in the country, or in the Texas border area, that means we can do a lot more to diversify that economy. And the jobs that we're creating, I talk about the border economies being pass-through economies, meaning the money passes through. It doesn't stay, it doesn't become kind of that value-added component. Universities have a role in creating strategic plans and visioning for what communities can become not what they are. And they've got to do that in collaboration. They've got all this knowledge and power and resources. It needs to focus on how we can improve life in the border areas. Here?
Let's say also the leadership in Laredo and the Valley, they also see this interview and your presentation today. How can they reach you? Have you put any white papers out? You're now a consultant. I mean, you could well be in demand with your vision here.
Right. So we're working on. I'm working pretty much with a couple of consultants first. Out with Quantum Ventures, LLC is kind of the vehicle that we have in place, and I think we're rolling out our webpage, et cetera. But embedded in that, I think is going to be kind of this concept of it. I want to talk about consulting as being the primary product. I think it's going to be access to information that connects you to what you need to know, and hopefully that are free. My big mantra here is there's a lot of free resources that we're not connecting to that are holding us back. And I think we need to just, like I told the Hispanic Chamber, that's part of the opportunity here. Let's do it. Yeah, I want to be part of that.
And I'm sure the border region's going to welcome you with open arms, because that sort of...
I hope so.
Yeah, that sort of help is, I think, a lot of people are going to say that's what we need. I understand tonight you're also giving a speech to the local LULAC chapter.
Yes.
What will the subject be there?
That's going to be a different conversation. And the conversation there is going to be more about the status of Latinos in higher education. And we'll tell the story. You know, we made some tremendous gains, but that has not translated to prosperity. And there's good reasons for that. Many of our Latino graduates are not in areas of high demand or that have that value-added proposition that STEM careers had. So today there was a lot of questions about, how do we get our young people to get into these areas that are emerging? And we're not doing a good enough job of creating those pathways. But if we did, we don't have the programs. So I think that the opportunity here that I'll talk about is that here's the data. We're graduating more Latinos than we've ever had, almost 2 million graduates from Hispanic surveying institutions every year. And yet we haven't seen the needle move. And that's because most of them they're in the liberal arts area, they're teaching, very few in the STEM areas, very few in these areas that are game changers. So how do we start as a LULAC, as a community, to start demanding that we kind of create these better programs, better programming, and that are based on opportunity? To me, education has always had the prosperity at the back end. And let's not forget that it's not just about getting a degree. It's about a good life. It's about contributing to the prosperity of the whole community. I think that's kind of what I want to focus on tonight. And I think LULAC has a lot to say, because we're in this uncertain time period where some of these programs that took years to develop, there's possibilities that they're going to change or evolve or be eliminated. And I think LULAC needs to be part of that conversation.
Those were all the questions I had. Is there anything else you would like to tell the audience about?
Other than it's just great to be back home.